Good morning, folks. What we want to talk about today is if there's some kind of heavy energy or energy doesn't feel good around your house and how to take care of it. Now, last week, what we were talking about is energy and what you might get into. And understand that was a very, very overwhelming type of class, okay? The classes I have here for 9 days, it's very difficult for them to even understand those things. So if you got some and you did some research on it, you're well ahead of everyone else. So don't worry. Now today, very simple things you can do to clear your house, to clear your family, and to keep yourself clear. Now, in this book here, and I'm not asking you to buy a book, I'm just going to go ahead and read the areas that I want you to look at, and it will be on our website, and it will be free for you to look at if you don't get everything. Now, one of the things, if you really think about it, when you take a shower or you bathe or however you take care of yourself, you feel better. Well, why wouldn't you feel better if you were feeling heavy or you were feeling yucky or you were feeling not very good, or you just got off a phone call that was not very nice, or your boss tangled with you or at work? Wouldn't it be better for you to take a quick shower when you got home, change your clothes into, let your clothes that you just were in, hang them out somewhere to where they could air dry, and put yourself something else on? You would feel better. But most people, and I understand it, and I'm not trying to change your behavior or your habits, because you won't do it. But most people do not shower when they get home or when they go to bed. So think about it. All the things that you happened to you that day, the things with the kids, the things at work, the letters you got, the phone calls you got, the work you did, all those things, and your spouse, whatever your spouse went through, you take that to bed with you. And I'm telling you, it affects your sleep because it is energetics. It could trigger emotions, it could trigger pain, it could trigger feelings, it could make you feel all kinds of things. You're added to your sleep. So just consider. And if you want to just try something, just try it for a week. This is an experiment. This guy says, this is an experiment I'm going to try before I go to bed. I'm just going to clear myself and clean myself and see what it feels like. Now that's one simple technique. Now, all these techniques I'm going to give you are how to clear your home or clear your family. Now, many people say they have negative energy. I don't think of energy as negative. It's not very nice, that's for sure. But I think of it as old. Because sometimes there's a big thoughts around what negativity is or something around you. If you just think about it, it is just really old energy. Old energy does not move like new energy. It's stuck. It's trapped. Is it stuck with something that was a gift to you? Is it stuck with some kind of furniture? Is it stuck with something you picked up at the thrift store? What is it, okay? And I just call that old energy. But when you get energy that is really old around your house and stuck, you don't feel so good because you're having to use your energy against that energy. It has a life force based on that kind of energy. You have a different life force. You're alive. And it takes a lot of your energy to keep that down or keep that subdued. So you really need to do some of these basic things. But all these things I'm going to give you here take time, take effort. Not a lot, but it takes time and effort. So you have to really consider, is this something I want to do so I can feel better? Now, if you have a lot of negative or old energy around your house, can it affect you physically? Yes. Emotionally? Can it make you sick? Now, how can it make you sick? Well, what if you have, like myself, I have a mother and an aunt that are sick and they're passing away in their way. Now, if I have them here and I have their energy and I have all the things that have gone on, the ups and downs of life, or somebody's passing through life and going into death, all those things, or if I have somebody that has been on drugs, or I have somebody who is a bad alcoholic, or if I have somebody who smokes in the house, there's a lot of things that can become very, very old or heavy. So you just have to think about, and some things you can't do anything about, right? And some things you smoke or you do things, and it's, you do what you need to do. And remember, we have a very, very good technique on the YouTube on how to cut back on your smoking, but still smoke as much as you're doing now, but not as much. So it explains it very, very clearly, and we have it in writing. You can get free. Now, why do we do everything free? Folks, this is stuff that was given to us. This is stuff that we learned. If we give it out and we give it, guess what it does for us? Yeah, you first hear all saying, oh, he gets money. We don't get any money for any of these things, but it allows us to get more information because we wrote down the way we thought it was. And by giving it out, it allows us to look at things even differently in a bigger picture. Going from a 13-inch TV to a 42-inch TV, you start to see things and know things. And it's the knowing that we're looking for. It's not the physical power. It's not the power over others. It's giving people in their empowerment. Now, here are the things that we can look at. I have negative people in our house or our neighbors. And we really couldn't say it's old energy, but some people can be pretty negative or pretty mean or pretty ugly. Okay, we could use a lot of words there. And people who smoke or drugs, alcohol abuse, highly emotional, use chaotic sexual energy. Now, who would use chaotic sexual energy? If you have teenagers, remember, they're thinking about sex every 3 minutes or even faster, okay? And all the energy of high school and all the projections of high school and all the projections in the middle school and different things your kids bring home, or even your younger child, they're with another best friend and their best friend family is sick, and they pass on that feeling or that being scared to your kids. So being sure everyone is clear to the best of their abilities. Now that is a job. So we have many techniques to help you with that job. Just because I ask you to do techniques, I don't know why you can't ask your children to do the same techniques, because it takes no time at all, but it helps them to be clear. And then we have family around us that is negative. That's really difficult, because that's what's happening with some of my family now. They're very unhappy. They've gone through a divorce. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough stuff, and they're very, I guess you would say, negative. And they're stuck. Huh? They're trapped by their energy. Co-workers who are negative, and a lot of us see that, right? Our work, our business is negative. Many, many businesses, and the way management is, doesn't feel very good, such as high pressure situations. Working in places with emotional volatility, such as firemen, police, medical department, rest homes, prisons, high schools, and hospitals, all these different kinds of energies where there's worries, there's fear, there's pain, there's suffering. That's a place where we bring home all kinds of energy. And that person should take a shower when they get home. Now I have one example, a family I knew a while back. The husband worked at an emergency in the hospital, so he was on for 12 hours. When he got home, they couldn't even get close to him because he was just radiating or vibrating with energy. He went right to the shower, he changed his clothes, and then he came into the family. Because it really is something. When a lot of people have high emotions, think about the military, think about things that they see, think about the kind of conditions they're in, and then they can't rest, okay? And you can't sleep very good. These are things that can really affect your sleep. Now, when we start looking at, I have page after page, or example after example. But what I want to get into are ways that you can clear your space. Now, there's about 11 of them, and some of them cost a little bit, but we've also narrowed it down to 4 things you can do if you don't have very much money, or and these other things don't cost very much, but they take a lot of time. Now, when you start cleaning your house or cleaning your area, you have to look for old stacks of old records or old books or junk, bedding or pillows, mattresses. Now, what we want to do is, when you have feather pillows, you have to be very, very careful because they hold energy different. Now, what happens is, let's say you're in a relationship, and let's say that relationship ends, but you keep the pillows. The energy of has that in the pillows. So you cannot clean feather pillows. You cannot clean them energetically or physically, because it has energy. It was alive. It has energy and it holds it differently. You need to let them go. And you need to find new ones. That could be expensive, but it could be the best investment you ever made. Now, when you have a mattress, you want to get a slip cover for the mattress. That does not cost very much. Put it in a zipper slip cover. And we also use covers for our pillows, slip covers, that also help you with being allergic to something. So those are very inexpensive, but can really help you a lot. So you want to do the things that don't cost you very much first before you do the other things. And remember, a mattress can be loaded with a lot of different kind of projections and energy and emotions. And what happens is, when you're sleeping on that and somebody's projecting onto you, or I'm going to hate to use this word, or fantasizing about you, or not liking you, or projecting something evil, they're coming through the energy that's around you, not what you're necessarily you, but maybe the bedding, maybe in the walls, and that's what they're picking up. Use your common sense, okay? Use your common sense. It has to get a battery, has to get some kind of energy to keep itself going, and that's where it's getting old energy, is a battery. If it can tap into old energy, then it can use it. Now, these are the things we have. You can wash your rugs, thoroughly clean their furniture and drapery. Okay, that is an expense, but it's not a real expensive one. It's just more time consuming. Painting the walls can help break the energy right away. If you can't afford to paint the walls, or if you're renting, you might be able to make a change by painting just one wall. One wall will change the energy of your bedroom or your other rooms, okay? Moving furniture to different spots. Now, you don't have to move it very much because you already have it set in the best place for your room you have. But if you could just move it a few inches in different ways, or change the angle, change it enough to where if somebody's projecting onto you, they're projecting on, are thinking about exactly the way the room was. By changing the energetics of the room, it makes it more difficult for them to project, so their projection has no energy to it. The room does not give off a charge. Now, using small mirrors. Now, in the Orient, they call bagwas, and they're just the wooden triangles, and they reflect outwardly. But you can also buy little mirrors and just turn them around at the mirror window and face them outwardly. That helps projections. Maybe it doesn't, but it helps your head, and I know it works. So I have those little mirrors around. I have them in the front house. I have them in the back of the house. I have them where people would project, looking down at our house and projecting, and it just goes back or does not go. So look at that very carefully, because this is a very inexpensive way to change energy. And you could also, let's say you're living right next to somebody in an apartment, okay? And this wall right here separates you from them. And what do you have? You have 6 inches, 8 inches, and you have all their projections. You could put a mirror going back that way, keeping their projections of their energy or whatever it is. Because remember, there's electrical in there could be plumbing in there could be all kinds of things that is intensifying the energy that they have. Cleaning and straightening all the areas of clutter. Now your closets and your stuff, I want you to understand, if you've put stuff there, you've got old energy stacked on old energy, stacked on old energy, or thoughts or people or whatever, and pretty soon it's as hard as a rock. And that's an area that, if it has enough energetics, it starts giving off its own energetics. It vibrates, right? Okay, you can feel it, right? Or sense it. And pretty soon it affects your sleep, or it affects people in the house. But think about, God, your kids' room or your teenage room and the messes they have in those areas. I don't know if you can ever get that area clean, but try to keep clutter at a minimum, or just keep clutter as organized as you can, okay? If you can put it in boxes and you can get it sealed up, if you can do anything you can do to help yourself. Now, lots of people have crystals and different stones. You have to be very careful, because when a crystal picks up, and it picks up whatever emotion it is, it starts to reverse it. You have to be very careful with diamond rings or jewelry, because once they absorb the energy, then they give off. Okay, just think about it. The energy is going down. So remember I told you about what hand we use. For men, it's your pulling hand. For women, it's your left hand for pulling hand. But what if you have a ring on and you haven't changed that, cleared that ring or that jewelry, and it reverses? So instead of you pulling, it starts to affect your arm. So what you need to do, very simply, is when you're showering or bathing, whatever, you slip it off if you can. Slip it off. Think clear. You don't want to let go of it, because we don't want to lose it. We think clear, rinse it with water, and slip it back on. It takes no time whatsoever. But I'm telling you, this is a really big deal. And if you have any kind of jewelry and you really want to be careful, and I'm not saying anything bad, but if you think about it symbolically, if you have a little cross, which we know it's maybe to help us protect ourselves or to think about what we love, whatever, but just clear it, because we don't want any of that energy pulling itself in. If somebody touches some of your jewelry, oh, what a nice ring, they touch it, you need to take it off, not right in front of them, but after, clear it and put it back on. You don't want people to touch your jewelry, because there's so many things you'll learn later around energy that you want to take care of now. If you have any questions about this, we've written all kinds of papers about it. It's all on our website. Look at jewelry, and it's in your little book, The Way It Works. It's there too. And you can get this information we have here. So don't just go on our website and write down, go on and look it up, and you can get it. It's all free. Now, plants and things that are alive can help your bedroom. I'm just kind of going through. I've already spoke about some of the things. I'm just okay. Now, vibration from music. Now, I'm going to just do a little test with you. So I want each of you just to think about something, okay? I don't care. Think about something good. Think about something that's happening to you in your life. But just think about it. Kind of close your eyes and think about whatever it is. I'm going to make tones, and I want you to just pay attention to that thought. You keep that thought as long as you can, whatever it is, okay? Ooh, ooh. So what does this tell us? Yes, the thought's gone. So if you have music in your room or in your house that oscillates, not like what I'm doing now, but just music that kind of moves, moving, not crazy music, just kind of offbeat, but nice music that you can enjoy. It creates a waveform. That waveform clears patterns. Think about that. If that's true, wouldn't you want to try that and see it? Wouldn't you want to experiment with that? Now, we use sound when we're working with people individually. When I can't break up energy inside them because it's so old, I mean 30, 40 years worth of energy around a certain organ, couldn't it have an effect on it? So we use sound because it oscillates and moves, okay? You always want music that has a movement to it. Does that make sense? And let me get to the... Now, in most cases, your biggest challenge will be the closest people around you. Because does your partner, if they smoke or if they... and I'm not saying these things are bad. I'm saying the more moderation we can have with things that aren't good for you probably is better for you. That makes sense, right? So that's the way I would approach it. And really look at that, cutting back on smoking, because it makes sense and people can still smoke and get their emotional fix. Now, these are the things you can do if you don't have much money. First of all, there is no excuse for the clutter. It's just going to take time. It's going to take energy, but it could change your life. So it's something you want to start doing because it's the easiest thing. Everything else costs so much more money. This is the easiest thing you can do. Now, moving the furniture around, I told you, but just moving it around a few inches off to the side, maybe if they're bed stands, or changing the way the lights were, changing maybe and adding as many mirrors as you can. And if you can, painting one wall, okay, because that changes the complete vibration of the room. And then, of course, changing your bedding, okay? And again, by putting it in a zipper sleeve, your mattress and your pillows, and if you have down pillows, I would just give them to your past relationship and say, thank you very much, and give them to them. Let them deal with it. But just get some that are, and these things don't have to be expensive. When we have time to shop, we can shop right. We can shop on Amazon. We can shop on many different things to find the very, very best price and save you at least half price if by going some places. So really look around, but do not get used pillows or used bedding, okay? Now, so there's many more things there, but I've given you enough to think about and enough to do. Now, my main concern with you is to be healthy. So one of you is going to want to do some kind of energy work or help other people, because it's just a wonderful thing we feel good about doing. And I understand that because that's why I do it. There's no other reason, okay? If you think about it, it's not for money. So what other reason would be to help people? And maybe by, what did I say? By helping people, it helps us by giving us an understanding of a bigger picture. The more you know, the better you feel, the less reactive you are. Now, what I've asked each one of you is to stop feeling. Now, I've covered this over and over again, but just people don't understand. This is a full-time job. You do not need to feel energy that does not feel good to you, because you know what it feels like. Anger or hate or hurt or pain. All these types of things. Why do you have to feel another person's pain or feel another person's, their anxiety, or they're getting a divorce, or they don't have enough money, or one of their kids are sick, or there's somebody died? Why do you need to feel that? You have felt it before. So I sense it. And the difference between feeling, this is feeling. You feel something and it affects your whole body. sense it. I just barely sense it. Oh, that's anger. I don't need to feel that person's anger. I can still talk to them, but I don't have to process their anger. You are processing everybody else's emotions in your house. It could be in your church. It could be in your family. It could be in your work. And it's too much. It overwhelms your nervous system and you start burning out. That's my biggest concern for teaching you how to be a healer or how to work with people, is not picking up their energy. And let me tell you something. I'm talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people who picked up other people's energy. Their body had to process it. One of the organs in their body was already enough that they were processing with themselves. By processing other people's energy, it hurt that organ and therefore made them sick, or therefore gave them cancer, or therefore just hurt their whole nervous system or immune system. So you want to stop feeling everything. 98% of everything in the world you don't want to feel. You want to sense it. So when I go to a giant mall, I'll sense this family, or I sense this family's issues, or this family, but I'm not feeling it. But then there might be a little kid or a little dog, or there's just something cute or something, then I can feel it. But I choose what to feel. I don't have to feel everything. I sense it. So if I said to you, I'm going to teach you how to be 1,000 times more sensitive, you say, you're crazy, man. I can't be 1,000 times more sensitive. I'm already overwhelmed. What I'm telling you is, when you do those clearing techniques, and when you change your vibration, and when you inside becomes lighter or less reactive, if you do not react to something, why should I react to their fear? It's not my fear. Why should I react? See, most people, they talk to you about what's going on, and they're passing on their energetics. You're looping with them, we'll get into that later. But just remember, sense things. So if somebody's angry and I sense it and I don't give it energy, their anger I can feel over here or sense over here. It doesn't hit me. It doesn't keep hitting me. It doesn't keep hitting me or hurting me. Is that a big deal if you're going to be a healer? Yes. Is that a big deal if you want to do well in work? Yes. With your family? Yeah. Where does it not apply? If you're going up and down, up, you're on, shut down because I felt something bad. You're on, you shut down, I felt something bad. You're not feeling good. It's affecting you physically. So really think about this. This is back to this book. This book tells you how to be clear, but it takes practice because you have to believe it. You can do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over, but until you believe it, it's not true. Once you believe it, it's true. And you keep practicing it. The calls we get from people 10 years ago, they call us, that I worked with them 10 years ago, and they have problems, this and that, but they aren't doing any of the clearing techniques because what happens is they felt good when they did it. And once you feel good, you stop doing the things to make you feel good, not realizing that all of a sudden you feel bad again and you forgot what to do to feel good again. So just keep doing the basics. I don't care if you read anything, and I'm giving you this book. I'm not asking you for anything. What more do you want? Not from me, but what do you want from the universe? What more do you want from Spirit to say, we want to help you to take your own power, not to be affected by everyone else, and to be happy. Think about that. Is that a big deal? In relationship to everyone I've worked with, it is. In relationship to myself, it's a big deal. Everyone I know. So I want you to do the basics. I want you to take care of yourself. Think about this whole thing about showering or clearing yourself or clearing your home. See, you've got to get sleep. It's got to be restful. You've got to do what you need to do to take care of yourself when you sleep. A third of your time is sleeping. If you don't sleep, it affects you physically, it affects you emotionally, it affects depression, it causes all kinds of challenges. And then also think about if you're doing something that's not healthy for you and you know it. Nancy and I, we have this great ice cream, okay? But I have to dish it out with her. She gets 4 or 5 little small scoops and I get 4 or 5 and we put it back away. Because if we didn't, we'd eat the whole thing because it feels so good. So we have to manage ourselves when it comes to things that are probably not as healthy for you as it should be. Does that make sense? So you don't eat a whole bag of potato chips, you just eat a few. And that's that whole thing about being in the moment. Because if you're in the moment, you don't need a lot of things. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it for today. I've given you a lot of things. I'm not as heavy as last week, I know, on the energy. But it's very important to know that when you start something, there's no limitations. When you start, you get into everything. And what we want to do is we just want to do this little bit. I just want to do this because I know I can handle this. But unfortunately, you don't get any of this. You get all this. Is that a way of you pushing yourself? Is that a way of you moving? Is that a way of you changing? I don't know. It appears it is, but that's up to you to decide. Anyway, thank you very much, and please explore. Remember, we got 6,500 pages of free information, okay? I got all these way it works in audio on there. We've got all kinds of things. But if you'll just really look at the YouTubes and really pay attention to each one of them, it'll give you insights in all kinds of things. And maybe you can find one there that you can share with your kids. Or maybe if you need one that talks about a certain age, you can let us know and we'll do that for kids or do that for younger people or whatever you need. Let us know what you need and we'll try to give it to you. So you take good care of yourself, and remember, it's you healing yourself which can change your life and your past and your family. So thanks you very much. Bye-bye.